On the phone today, getting acquainted with a wonderful couple who, long time ago, went on a missions trip and were so touched by what they saw. They said, boy, somebody should do something about this. And wouldn't you know, the Lord tapped them on the shoulder, and they founded Children of the Nations 20 years ago, celebrating 20 years of ministry, based out of little old Silverdale, but a real worldwide impact. We have Chris and Debbie Clark on the phone today. Hi, folks.
Hi, Mark.
Hi,
great to be with you.
Great to have you on the line. It's kind of neat. You're over there on the peninsula in Silverdale, and I guess your home backs right up against Island Lake Camp. And you said you don't hear the motorcycles?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Believe me, we hear everything. But it's the fun sounds of summer for us.
Fun sounds of summer. Lots of fun happening over there. Of course, Island Lake, a ministry of Krista. Of course, you folks are familiar with Krista Ministries and some of our World Relief work. Was that part of an inspiration maybe for founding Children of the Nations for you?
Sure. And my father and mother actually directed the camp many, many years ago before Krista had it. And I really wanted to be a counselor there because I idolized all the counselors. And so in 1981, I came back, and Krista actually had it then, and I was a counselor at Island Lake. And I think God used that. I was an awkward missionary kid that spoke different languages and had weird experiences like having chimpanzees as pets. And the kids really embraced those stories and helped me to see that that God had truly gifted me to work with young people and children. So I would definitely say that it was a great start to the ministry that He had for us here at Children of the Nations.
Well, tell us a little bit about how this started. Now, I kind of alluded to it that you went on a missions trip together as a couple, and you started off with just the two of you pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, as Chris shared, he was born in Japan and raised in Africa, and so we were actually working with Youth for Christ at the time, and he had a real heart, as well as his family did, for the Liberian refugees. A war had broken out in Liberia and had spread over the borders into Sierra Leone, and there were many Liberian refugees living in Sierra Leone. So he had a real heart to go help the Liberian refugees living in Sierra Leone. So that was our first trip in 1995 to go over to Sierra Leone and do something for the Liberian refugees living there. My first trip to Africa, Chris felt like he had gone home. And every day we would drive out to one of the refugee camps where there were thousands of children living on their own, literally. You'd see a little 5-year-old or 6-year-old with a one-month-old or 2-month-old baby tied to their back, and we did a 5-day club that week while we were there. And first day we had a couple hundred kids, and by the end we had, I don't even know how many hundreds would come just to hear the message of Christ. And we knew when we got back on that plane after spending those couple of weeks there and seeing the extreme needs that we could not get back on that plane and not do something about what we'd seen.
And then the rest is history. 20 years of history now. You've grown into this ministry. You have about 400 people, I guess, working with you, and you minister in 5 different countries. Is that right?
Yes, we work in 2 countries in the Caribbean, which is the Dominican and Haiti on the island of Hispaniola, and then we work in Sierra Leone, Malawi, Uganda. So very involved there in Malawi as well.
So what kind of work do you do through Children of the Nations? It says children on your website, Children of the Nations, raising children who transform nations.
We have 3 main programs in our ministry. One is our children's homes. We do not call them orphanages because our children have found family once they come into our homes, and they no longer like to be called an orphan because now they belong. And so our children's homes are really for those kids who had or have no one else, had no one else to call family. And they live in our homes 24/7, and just like in any family, all of their needs are provided for. And then our Village Partnership Program, which is our largest program, we have thousands of kids in that program. Some of those children would also be orphans. Many come from extreme poverty, and they just need some help with providing some of the basic needs. So it could be everything from school fees to nutritional meals to medical care, clean water. But there's a Village Partnership program that they attend on a daily basis, and some of those, every program's a little bit customized because we do not want to create the handout mentality. We want to come alongside the families and the relatives and help them provide for their own children. And then lastly, our university vocational program, which obviously helps those that are a little bit older to, again, stand on their own 2 feet and get an education that helps propel them into living independent lives and actually becoming those that are going to help transform their families and their communities, and our hope is ultimately their nation. And we've already seen a bit of that starting to happen, so that's been exciting.
Well, even real close to home now, somebody who is in the program is now serving, you said this summer or soon, or has recently served at Island Lake Camp as a counselor. Is that right?
Yeah, this is the third summer that we've been able to bring some of our young people here. These are kids that typically start out in a village as broken little kids, 5 or 6 years old, and as they grow up through the program, we want to make sure that they have good positive exposure and opportunity to give back. So we've started a partnership with Krista, with the camping side of things, and they come over for 2 to 3 months and work in all different roles at both Miracle Ranch and Island Lake, serving. It's just so fun to hear them give stories and testimonies of their amazement of the American culture and the American children and some of the baggage that some of the kids come from. You know, these young people have had everything ripped out from them, so you can imagine it's pretty eye-opening to hear why kids want to, for instance, commit suicide or whatever because their Game Boy doesn't work or whatever. So it's been really fascinating for them to share the love of Christ with kids from a perspective of brokenness, but yet to have great opportunities to partner with Island Lake has been really rewarding for us with our mission as well.
Well, if people are listening today and they want to get involved, now you do have a sponsor, a child part of your ministry, is that right?
Yes, we do, and you can find that on our website for all 3 of the programs that I mentioned, for our children's homes, for our village partnership, for our university and vocational program, and the opportunities for sponsorship are on our website, which is www.cotni for Children of the Nations International.org.
What about if people maybe are empty nesters, second phase of life, and they would like to get involved in missions work? Can people get involved with you on that level?
Absolutely. We want people to get to know the children. We've created a worldwide family, so we want to have our kids interact. We call it a bi-mentorial way because it just rocks your world when you get involved with kids. Anything that God calls you to do, but specifically children. So we do have business opportunities for business people to help our kids with entrepreneur businesses. We always need teachers. We always need the specialists, designers, people that can help with architectural designs or whatever it might be. But I would just say, any person that has been raised in a godly way here in this country could give back by participating with us as a volunteer. So we welcome that.
We have so many different people that have made such an incredible difference in many ways. In fact, we just had dinner with a lovely woman over there on your side of the water last week who not only helped provide funding for our school in Sierra Leone, but this lady she's also a seamstress, and so she sews beautiful dresses for the girls in our home, and what an incredible blessing that is to not only help financially, but to help with their hands and to sew these dresses for the girls who just absolutely love them is an incredible way to share her skills.
Well, it's a wonderful outreach based right in Silverdale, talking with Chris and Debbie Clark, the founders of the ministry. 20 years this year, making a real difference, a real impact around the world. Again, the website for more details about Children of the Nations. We were kind of joking before we went on the air. You guys were kind of late to using the internet, so you didn't get the actual name, so you had to go with just your letters. Cotni.
Abbreviated.
Yeah, COTNI.org, which stands for Children of the Nations International.org. Cotni. It's about, and you say it's about cotton. A lot more than cotton. A lot more than cotton going on at Children of the Nations. Wonderful ministry. Thank you for telling us more about this today, Chris and Debbie Clark.
Thank you, Mark. Such a pleasure to be on KCIS.